I'm Jennifer Reyna. According to TxDOT, in 2023, there were over 94,000 distracted driving related crashes in Texas alone. All week, we've been telling you about these issues and bringing you solutions. From the latest statistics to hearing from those affected and advice from the experts, here are a few ways to keep you and your family safe on the roads. When you look at the numbers surrounding distracted driving, you get a better idea of how big this problem actually is. But first, let's figure out what the term distracted driving really means. Most people think about using a cell phone and texting when the term comes up, but it goes way beyond that. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, there are actually 3 types of distracted driving. Visual distractions that cause you to take your eyes off of the road, think an accident or looking in your car's GPS. Then there are manual distractions. These are things that make you take your hand off the wheel, like eating or changing the radio station. There are also cognitive distractions, where your mind is somewhere else. This can include having a cell phone call, even if using a hands-free device. So how many accidents do these behaviors cause? According to TxDOT, last year there were over 94,000 crashes involving distracted driving in the state. In those crashes, close to 400 were killed and over 2,700 people suffered serious injuries. Though these numbers are a decrease from the year before, far too many Texans are dying over distracted driving.
Wow, a decrease. That's surprising information to know, but I didn't know about the 3 different types. Even your mind is somewhere else when you're driving. You know, a lot of people can be stressed out and you're not really fully focused on the roadways.
Oh, it makes total sense. A lot of people call and then you still have your hands on the wheels, but you could be distracted by something they're saying, a conversation you're having, miss a turn and it all goes from there. All right, good information, Jen. Thank you. April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and all this week we are talking about the dangers of being distracted behind the wheel.
Today, Jennifer Reyna is sharing tips from AAA to prevent yourself or your teen from getting distracted while driving.
We all know it's wrong, but most drivers admit to looking down at their cell phones while driving. And that can have deadly consequences. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, there were more than 3,300 people killed in distracted driving crashes in 2022. This equates to about 9 lives lost each and every day because of something that is entirely preventable.
Are you texting someone or are you reading messages? You're texting? Who are you texting? Say that again?
Police can only do so much about this enormous problem taking place every minute of every day. As Doug Shoup with AAA notes, the issue is so widespread, we each must take responsibility.
Distracted driving impacts all of us. Other drivers, pedestrians, bicyclists, we're all at risk. They have this desire to know right away, who commented on their Facebook post or their Instagram story. It's this need to be constantly connected.
That connection ironically leads to deadly results. The main message from officials is to stay off of any and all apps while driving, period. Do you mind showing me physically what we should do?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good idea to learn how the driving focus feature on your phone works and use it. There's iPhone as well as Android devices, and they have these features in them where you can actually set your driving focus. What that does is it limits the text messages that come in.
It's a hard message for people to take in and follow, but AAA says to pull over if you must call or text. Place your mobile device out of sight to avoid the temptation. Ask your passenger for help, but refuse to use your phone while driving.
April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and this morning a local mother is sharing her experience.
Stacy Riddle's daughters were killed in a distracted driving crash. Now she is hoping her story will encourage you to keep your focus on the road.
He said the accident had been so horrific that there were clothes everywhere, there was phones, there was all kind of debris just all over the highway. I lost it. I started screaming and hollering.
March 20th, 2016. Stacy Riddle's life would forever be changed.
When you lose your only children, and at the same time, that's a pain. That's a pain that no one no one can fix.
Her two daughters, 19-year-old Brianna Robinson and 17-year-old Jade Robinson, were killed in a car accident. They were coming back from spring break with two of their friends when the car they were in crashed into an 18-wheeler. Authorities say the driver was checking her GPS on her phone when she drifted into the path of the truck.
We all think that you have so much time looking at a phone, reaching for something, and you really don't. It takes just a second.
Only the female driver survived. 3 others lost their lives that night.
We drove down to Corpus, and when we got to Corpus, got to the hospital, and got to the room, we saw my daughter, and it was Jade. And she had just passed moments before we arrived. We never did get a chance to see Brianna. It wasn't until the funeral that I actually got to view the bodies of both girls.
Both girls attended Bel Air High School. Brianna was said to have been very caring, would give you the shirt off of her back. The girls were very athletic. They were in track, gymnastics, and volleyball. Jade had received a full scholarship to university before her life was cut short. Her mother said she did a lot with Special Olympics and helped underprivileged kids. The support of friends and her faith have gotten Stacy through some of the roughest days.
I think that I've done so well through my building my relationship with God. It's allowed me to know that whatever happens, He's in control. And I'm just a small piece of it.
As a parent, you just feel for that mother so bad, and you see, those are stories you don't want to see because they're so hard to watch, but we have to inform the public. And the ripple effect one decision can have. It didn't just affect that mother's life. The daughters are gone, the friend who was driving, the truck driver, all of these people and their extended family and friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an impact. And I mean, I still think the mother is brave for coming years later to still be able to share the story so that others can learn.
And it's a situation you definitely have to lean on your faith to get through. The pain in her voice, you can hear it still 8 years later.
You just don't think it's going to happen to your family. You think it's always somebody else's story.
Absolutely, right, but it can happen to anyone.
And April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and all month long and all week we have been talking about distracted driving. So I did want to tell you a little bit more about that. I've been telling you about that problem, bringing you the problems, and also trying to bring you solutions. And according to TxDOT last year, there were over 94,000 distracted driving related crashes in Texas, resulting in nearly 400 deaths and 2,700 serious injuries. This morning, we're going to dive deeper into the legal consequences of distracted driving. Since September 1st, 2017, it has been illegal to read, write, or send a text while driving in the state of Texas. Violators can face a fine of up to $200. It starts off small, between $25 and $100, but if you keep getting pulled over for distracted driving, the fines keep rising. If your distracted driving causes someone else to get hurt or pass away, the consequences shift. We spoke to Matthew Mentor, a senior trial attorney here in Houston, about what can happen to you.
Depending on how hurt they are, there are very serious consequences. If somebody is fatally injured by your negligent conduct, you could go to prison. You could be faced with civil lawsuits.
A split second could change your life or someone else's and have lifelong effects. And the biggest thing Mentor spoke about, it can wait.
If you hurt somebody, if you hurt yourself, you know, that is something that can change somebody's life. And so it can wait.
I know it seems so simple, but yes, it can wait. Our coverage continues tomorrow with the science behind distracted driving. We take a closer look at what is actually happening with your brain when you take your eyes off the road. All week long, I've been sharing the information, consequences, and real-world impacts of distracted driving. And this morning, we're using science to show you just how dangerous it is to take your eyes off the road. Sending a text while driving seems so simple and quick, but the reality can be devastating. If your fingers are fast and your text is short, the whole process will take about 5 seconds, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. If you were driving 55 miles per hour, you would end up going over 400 feet, longer than a football field, basically with your eyes closed. Pretty scary, right? Well, that doesn't even take into account how long it takes to brake if a road hazard pops up while you are sending that text. Experienced drivers know that your reaction time is not instantaneous. It takes approximately 1.5 seconds for your brain to process what is going on and your foot to slam on the brake. That whole time, your car is still moving forward, and then you still aren't stopped. It will still take time from when you hit the brake to when your car stops. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, if you are going 55, the distance traveled from when you see the hazard to when you come to a complete stop is over 250 feet. All these numbers add up to an incredibly dangerous situation, not only for you, but for everyone else on the roads. I mean, so many things can be a distraction, but one of the biggest things we know is the phone. And so we are hoping that eventually technology fixes the problem that it sort of started. I mean, I know as humans we started it, but it didn't help that they put a computer
cycle.
right there in our hands.
Vicious cycle.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully something is done soon, Jennifer.
I know, serious problem for sure. I think I report on it every day. I don't know all the results always from my stalls or crashes, but I'm like, yeah, every time it makes me wonder, was that involving something that distracted that driver?
Well, and our attention span has gotten so small now, so at stoplights, we all want to go like this, and then you're still looking at whatever was not important as you continue to drive. Doesn't help.
Great information all week long, Jennifer.
Thanks.